Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Squeaky, Unclean podcast. This is episode number 11, I believe. Wow, 11. We're already still in the double digits. We have a very special guest this week, a good friend of mine, Heather Kozlakowski. Try saying that 12 times fast. Coming all the way from Michigan. She's going to be here talking about some of her endeavors that are coming up, some shows that are coming up in Windsor, as well as around the great state of Michigan. We'll just be having a little back and forth going on. So here we go. Hello, Squeak Freaks. It's me. Yeah, this is what we're doing right now. Heather Kozlakowski is, try saying that 12 times fast. I actually said that in the intro. And, she's joining us here from Michigan. Yeah. She came all the way over, and she didn't have a problem crossing over the border because she is white. And that helps when you are white. Let's we don't have to. You grew up in Detroit. You know what's going on. You know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm white. I'm privileged. I get across the border easy.
No, that's all good. How you doing, though?
Good. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. This is very swanky digs.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
Professional.
For those of you who are listening, we're in the CJM studios. This is the third podcast I've done here. We started episode 9 with Kate Davis. You can watch that. Also with Cam Adamson, too. Don't forget to subscribe. YouTube.com/DaveSqueakyWheels. All these aimless plugs, of course. You're actually doing a weekend set at the Comedy Quarry.
I am, yes, featuring tonight and tomorrow night.
Lovely.
Very excited.
Yeah, you went there before for an open mic, but...
Yeah, I did an open mic at Villains, and then that went well. So the booker at Comedy Quarry asked me to come out and do an open mic there.
Right.
I did that, and it didn't go as well, but it went all right.
Yeah. I think it was just a weird crowd that night, too, because, some rooms, as you know, are just hit and miss.
And then I really wasn't myself either. I know that I held my phone the entire time and looked at my set, and I didn't make eye contact. So I tend to be I'm very personable and connected. Absolutely. And I was very disconnected and sort of just that comic telling jokes. Yeah. And I still got laughs. It still felt good, but it just wasn't my set. So I'm excited to go back and actually connect with the crowd and do my set.
Isn't that funny how meticulous we can get when we look at our material? Even if we deliver it perfectly and the people who are watching don't have an issue with it, we're like, well, actually, I want to do this, and actually, I want to do that. Like, I do it all the time where you just completely dissect and want to look at every little intricate detail.
I don't dissect too much, though. I'm not really that kind of a comic. I'm really I'm very simple. I'm a really simple woman, which I'm not talking down to myself at all because, I'm very proud of who I am. Absolutely. But I am very simple. I talk about what I know. I process through my feelings with comedy. I don't dissect it, and I know what feels right. And people ask, how do you know when to stop a joke? It doesn't feel right anymore. I just kind of go by what feels good.
I think that's half the battle, too. It really is about feeling out your material because, if you do a bit after a certain period of time, you lose passion. Sometimes you lose interest. Like, there are some nights, especially like when I was 20, so I'm 22 right now, where, I do a show and I just do the same bits, sometimes each week, and I just be like, this is bullshit. Why am I even doing this joke?
I have my material. Can we swear openly?
Of course.
Okay.
It's
I'm just saying in case I want to throw one out.
No, this isn't going to be aired on CJM, actually. This is just on my YouTube channel.
All right, I can cuss all I want. If I feel the need to cuss, I will.
There's actually a weird thing about that because I was actually telling a friend of mine, I had a worker the other day that came over, and she's in her 60s, early 60s. So the time period's different. And even though you're somewhat older than me, but I feel as if people from a different time period coming into now, it's like the fucking Twilight Zone for them. Because I was watching a podcast, and she was a journalist, and she was talking about Edward Snowden and stuff like that. It wasn't really necessarily conspiracies. It was just more so about her line of work and about Washington, the Occupy movements and stuff like that. So she said fuck a few times, and I didn't even bat I didn't bat an eyelash. But my worker was there, and she said, that's kind of weird hearing that coming from her. I'm like, what do you mean coming from her? He said, well, I'm not really used to women swearing. I'm like, but she was just emphasizing something. I don't see what the difference is. They should go see your act.
I'm trying to swear too much, but I do masturbate on stage, so I'm sure she's not used to seeing that either.
No, it's true. It's so weird how Victorian we still are with our approach to a lot of things. Are you talking
about Canadians?
I think just in the
Who's
Western
the
world.
we? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know
So you're including me in that?
Well, no, not us. We're different.
I'm old school, I'm more old school. I realize I am than I kind of thought I was, because I definitely was, speaking about men and women, for a long time I didn't want to be that girl.
Yeah.
Like I was the tough one. I was, it didn't matter. I could do this. I talk about in my sets about having one night stands and stuff, and that didn't. Oh man, I was tough. That didn't matter, but it does matter. I'm not tough. I am that girl. Like I'm real wholesome and emotional and all of those things that I think I really didn't want to be when I was younger. I wanted to be that tough broad who I've always worked in a male dominated field.
Yeah.
And with my radio experience and working in film and now comedy, but I think that I can survive and thrive being who I really am, which is a simple, sensitive soul.
I think that's what we all kind of want to do. We're all trying to kind of figure out what we have to contribute, and we're all trying to figure out who we actually are. So it sounds cliche, but you go through phases when you're younger because you want to project a certain thing, you want people to see you in a certain light. Like especially with comedy, because I feel as if your act evolves with you.
Yep, and I love that. I love that. I love how my act has evolved. I've been doing comedy 5 years, and when it started out, it was like, hey man, one night stands are the best. Yeah. Drinking's the best. Yep. And now it's like, I'm sober, and that's good. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm excited about it. I'm just excited about being healthy. I've had no sugar, no white flour, no alcohol. It's been a year and 3 months now.
Holy shit.
Yeah. My life is just awesome.
So you were actually like a real minority in America because
I don't drink or eat bad food.
And you look at the obesity. I'm not saying ours is better up in Canada. It's still like 30-40%, but
people think I'm weird. I was talking to this guy, and he's like, "Do you eat food?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just don't eat sugar and white flour. Like, there's tons of food that's not that." It
really is. There's a lot of different alternatives that you can do, especially when you take a look at different cookbooks and recipes and stuff.
There's so much food out there. But just really quick, not to get on the food tangent, but just talking about like processing and how my set evolves, and like I've had. So now that I realize I'm a sensitive person and I'm letting myself be sensitive, I definitely get damaged pretty quickly. But how I process that, I can turn it around right away and own it and make a joke about it.
There's no such thing as having a thick skin, because we're all a bit sensitive because of what we do. To me, art is defined as anything that any average person couldn't do or would have years of immense difficulty doing. You know what I mean? I think that's why we sort of worship different artists or like different fields, like that one great musician, that great painter, or even the guy that does web design. He designs this badass website. I feel as if that's important too, and also it's a form of expression. So especially when you brought up the sensitivity part, men especially I find are very, very guarded when it comes to that, and I was for the longest time. Like I remember being a teenager. I'm like, I'm not crying. Fuck
oh man, I love it when men cry.
No, and it's not like I do it all the time. I'm not like John Boehner, the fucking house speaker.
I love it, man. I love it when a guy cries. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. And when they're jealous, that's not good either. I'm in for that too. Like I'm not good. I'm terrible. I like big expression of inappropriate emotion.
Well, and also too, it's kind of funny how like those two emotions coincide with anger and sensitivity. They're kind of predecessors to one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sensitivity stems from feeling hurt, from feeling like,
all anger comes from pain. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I learned that in acting class.
Yeah.
All anger comes from pain.
Oh, absolutely. And that's, I feel as if the best actors are able to replicate a variety of emotions, as you know, because you obviously you've done some film, and it's different like when you do film as opposed to stage acting, because I've done a bit of both, and I know people who have done both, and I find what the main distinction is also the projection. The projection is a bit different. You can be quieter when you're on film because they can adjust the audios and whatnot.
Yeah, and I like stage. Actually, I've done theater, and on a smaller scale, and I've loved it. And what I like it better than film, because with film, Russell Brand wrote in his book, he's like, if you like to wear the same clothes for 15 hours and do the same thing repetitively, then you will like working in film. And that's what it is. But with theater, it's like once you're on, and you live through the moment and through the character, and it doesn't, there's no stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. It's like you're up. Once you're up, you're up. And I love that about it because it's real all the way through. I do get what you're saying about the projection, how that's different. But from the emotional standpoint, I prefer theater because once you're on, and in film it's stop and go, stop and go.
Also, there's immediate reactions too, which makes it sort of like, even though it's a different art form, it's a bit like stand-up in that respect. Because I remember I was doing a play in the 12th grade, and the opening night had so much energy. You could feel the vibe in the room. You could feel people were excited to be there, like, yes, we had this anticipation, let's go, let's see it, let's do this. And it was mostly students too, so younger people have obviously more energy. And we went up, and everybody that I went up on stage with absolutely killed. Like they completely crushed it. Like nobody forgot a line. It was fluid. They took their time. They waited for the audience to react, and we were just in characters. Like I have a picture of it on Facebook. I'll show it to you at some point. I wrote it down as like Wheelchair Moses, where like I have this long ass Gandalf beard, this fucking robe, and like this staff. Because I was like this old man in the play. It was called The Twin Menechemi. You heard of it? Like
no.
It's like a Greek play. It's by Plautus. It's basically just about like how these two brothers are twins, but they don't know that they're twins, and the comedy obviously stems from that. And but the opening night was awesome. But I found that the next night it was a matinee show, so it was the energy was less, bit of an older crowd.
And then with comedy too, like a lot of comics talk about that too, the different crowds and the different feelings. Like a lot of my friends to me right now are discussing the same thing. They go to open mics and they feel bad. It's like I go to open mic, maybe I don't do well, and it works on your self-esteem because it's different. An open mic isn't a show.
It's not.
A real show, people are really coming out to hear comedy. It's different. It feels different. So if you're starting to feel bad about open mics, do a real show. Like book a show where people actually want to come to see comedy, where the room isn't full of other comics, when it's actually people that want to and need to laugh, and then the atmosphere totally changes. Because open mics can get you down if you're if you're not getting the laughs that you want, because that's why we all do it, to feel better. If comedy didn't feel good, and that someone asked me too, Heather, when will you stop? When it stops to feel good, when it doesn't feel good anymore.
And when you lose that drive, but I feel as if the good ones never lose that drive, where they find a way to reharness it. And I even feel like even open mics can be a trap, because we've all been there where it's like, I'm doing the same shitty bars, I'm doing this place, I'm not getting the response I want. Then you go to comedy clubs, and it's like, this worked at the club, why didn't this work here? And then you start second guessing yourself. At least I find a lot of young comics do.
And that's the thing, like Joan Rivers talks about doing older jokes, and you had talked about maybe feeling bad about doing jokes over and over. Well, that's what comics do. I mean, that's what I did, and Joan Rivers said it feels like an old friend or something like that, maybe putting on an old jacket or it's a friend, it's comfortable. And when I get into a joke that I've been doing for 5 years, it's like an old friend. It's like a blanket. It's cuddly. It's cozy. It feels good.
It's almost as if you go into a coma and recite it.
Well, I'm still there. I'm conscious. Conscious.
It counts. It's okay. Different English, being from America.
Throw a Z in there and act like I fit in.
No, it's a Z. Fucking with you. like favor is like with a U, no, just an R. All these little subtleties.
Yeah.
But getting back to Borders, I guess, even though like it's we spoke about that when we first came on the air. I remember when I was a kid, like when 9/11 happened, buzzword 9/11. When 9/11 happened, I feel as if that was an issue not just for people of color, or anybody who was different was trying to cross the border. It affected everybody, especially because we're a border town and we see so much international, like we see so much culture that we don't even realize. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot in Windsor and even in Detroit that happened here with prohibition, with the slave trade, with the auto industry, obviously. But I feel as if, like I said, when September 11th happened, it was also another significant period because, obviously when you have fear, that can make people do a lot of things. It can take people in a different direction. Maybe it can make them do certain things that they didn't necessarily expect to do. But I find as if, especially here, because we were affected by it directly, not as the people in New York that experienced it, but in terms of like our trade, in terms of crossing and stuff,
Man, I know you stated that I was older than you, so now everyone knows how much
That's
older
okay.
than you I am.
You're
But I was
you
definitely,
fooled me.
yeah. Oh, what did someone said to me? Heather, you are no age and every age all at once. I'm like, yes, that's gonna be my first comedy album.
You're like stagnant Benjamin Button if you just like stayed in the middle, like you didn't age or
Hot, yeah,
Yeah.
at his hottest.
Mhm.
Let's see. So wait, you distracted me with that. What were we talking about?
Just the border and shit like that.
Oh,
Like,
but 9/11.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just remember, I remember that I was in a loving relationship and just being I would just fantasize about what would happen if we were apart, and I just like would go into like
yeah.
end of the world scenarios and who I would want to be with and how I would be with him and my mom and dad and how I would figure everything out. It's just real, always thinking of fearful things and fearing the loss of, that relationship. And I just remember, like just holding him and crying and just feeling like it was the end of the world, and then trying to plan for what we would do if it actually was the end of the world.
Yeah, like I said, in a sense that dictates human emotion. I mean, my mom was in Japan when it happened. She was actually flying back into the country because she was over there with my stepdad for a business trip. And when she came, like, she sent me all these letters and stuff and said everything's cool. But I didn't even know what was happening because I was about 11 or 12 at the time. My grandfather, when he was alive, was driving me and my sister back home from school. And every single radio station was the same exact thing, because this is all obviously before Facebook, before Twitter, before any modern-day social media outlet. So the information that we were getting was all kind of universal, because we were still kind of stuck on the 24-hour news networks. And just because it was a worldwide impact, And in a sense, everybody felt it differently. You know what I mean? I like, people can talk about, well, that's when Islam started to got pushed more in the forefront and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's true. But I feel as if, you always internalize things, and you always look at things from a direct perspective, how it affects you. Because in a sense, that's basically what politicians are. If it doesn't affect them, or if it's not in their interest politically, well, they'll advance their career. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm very Heather-centric. I am. Yeah. I mean, I'm my favorite topic.
Oh.
I really am. So I'm going to blow you away with my honesty. I'm going to come off as the most terrible human being. But I swear to God, I am a nice person. And I care about other people. But I'm just being honest. Yeah, I am. I'm my favorite topic.
Well, yeah, everybody's favorite topic is themselves. I mean, like, anytime I've been told, because I didn't know how to, it sounds kind of weird, but I didn't really know how to date initially. I didn't really know, like, how to just sit down and talk to people. Like, goes back to the whole, when you're younger, you want to project something, that type of thing. So I didn't necessarily know how to talk to somebody, but I think a friend just told me, everybody's favorite topic is themselves.
Yeah, be a good listener on a date. That's all you have to do. Ugh, it's terrible.
Absolutely.
Suck us right in just by letting us talk. And then cry.
Yeah.
And then get jealous. And then we're in. Express terrible emotion, and we're in.
I had such a weird experience like that. The very first girl I dated, she actually got mad at me because I didn't get jealous.
Yeah.
She was talking to another guy. And I'm like, why the fuck would I get jealous? She said that you were just, because I was naive. I'm like, you said that you guys are just friends. It's not a big deal.
No, we like it.
Yeah, I know. It's such a weird dynamic.
You can't be a weirdo, though. You can't be like, it's okay. Really, it's not good. No. It's a terrible, jealousy is a terrible emotion. It shouldn't exist, really. But on a primal level, my reptilian brain responds to it. Yeah. But if I were to actually, but like, really, I would have to have a conversation in a relationship and be like, this isn't, I have to be able to have my friends and hang out. Like, you can't like stunt my growth as a human being, but the brain, like the part that I can't control, and I think loves it.
Absolutely.
And I know there's one other. Can we talk about? There's another woman in the room who is nodding with everything that I'm saying. So it's not like Heather is crazy. Heather knows what's up.
Oh, of course you do.
I know what's up.
With age comes sorry.
Stop it.
I know. I did that. As I was about to say that sentence, I'm like, oh fuck. I shouldn't have said that. That came out wrong.
I don't care. Actually, and I enjoy being older. And I'm 36, so I'll put it out there. I'll let you know exactly how old I am. And I actually enjoy this age because, man, when I was 20, I was so stupid. I thought I knew everything.
Everybody is.
And I was really trying to be, I'm drinking Jack Daniels, smoking Marlboro Reds, having one night stands, thinking like that's the answer to everything, and that's who I was, and it's just I was so stupid.
I feel as if people get trapped with any type of substance. It can be addictive or not addictive. Alcohol obviously is, and especially if you have like a history of that in your family, it can be rampant and it can affect you, which is why I had to like decrease as well. Because when I first started, the drinking age is obviously different over here. So I didn't have my first drink till I was 18, but I obviously go out to bars when you're 19 and stuff, because you get the kids from Ohio and Michigan, and even Minnesota sometimes, like the surrounding areas.
I went to Sarnia.
Oh yeah.
I went to Windsor a few times, so most of my time. You know what I would do?
What?
At 19, I'd roll up Canada, and I'd be like, every time I went to the bar, sorry, I wasn't getting cigarettes. I'm at the bar. Wait, where am I, Heather? I would get a Bud Light and a shot of tequila. Bud Light and shot of tequila. Every time I went up to the bar, so every time I finished a beer, I get a shot of tequila. I'm 19 years old. And how did I survive that? How did I live through that?
Everybody's got those nights where it's just like, okay, I know that I started here, but then the rest just isn't. I can't connect the dots.
How did that happen?
It's like you're playing Sherlock Holmes in your own life. It's like, okay, there was a coin here, and there was a kiss mark here, and a bite mark here. It's like, but I don't have any pants, and my credit card's gone. So something bad happened. I was having fun at the time, but there's an issue later on which I have to address now. I'm not gonna be able to explain this to my mother, grandmother, or whoever's in the house that is of a female.
I don't know how this happened.
No, neither do I.
You know what I like? And I find that, though, the one thing that I don't like when I'm going out with people and I'm sober and I'm having a good time, right? Because I'm crazy, like I can have fun, and they're like, "You're sober." And they look down on me, like, because I'm letting loose and I'm sober. So that bothers me. It's like, hey, you need to get drunk in order to experience that part of your brain that's letting you have fun.
Yeah,
I don't. I don't. So let me do it. And then what I like too is that now that I'm sober, and I'm not binging on food either. Like, I'll tell you, I mean, I don't consider myself an alcoholic by any means. Yeah. I haven't drank in a year and 3 months. I don't consider myself an alcoholic. I do consider myself a person that handled her feelings through lots of things, and I'd say food was the major one. Yeah. But I did it through lots of other things too, alcohol being one of them, and even like picking fights with people. Like in my relationships, I'd try to pick a fight with you just so I could feel better. So just things like that. So food, I think, was the biggest one.
So funny. I have the opposite problem. Like if I get I used to get like really depressed, I would not eat at all. Not that I wouldn't eat at all, but I'd have like minimal. I find that maybe this is stereotyping. Sorry, if I find that women turn to like the comfort food more, and guys tend to like not do that as much.
Yeah. Well, it depends. I know I definitely have guy friends that turn to food for comfort.
Yeah. It definitely varies.
But and I like that I can go out and do something, and the next day I'm not trying to figure it out, and I'm not beating myself up. Why did I do that? I might have been on the floor singing like a virgin, writhing, doing karaoke, but I was totally, there's a picture on my Facebook,
I saw that. Yes.
But totally sober. I don't regret it. I made that decision with a sound mind and body, and I got on that bar floor and did like a virgin.
I have to tell you the story about when I was at this house party and I ended up breakdancing. I don't know how to break dance.
Were you sober or drunk?
I was fucked up. Yeah. I was very, very stoned and very, very drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember like there was like a group around me, and like I stood up out of my chair and like I was just doing a bunch of these fucking moves. I was dancing like the old man from Chappelle's show, like when he like throws the money in the hat. That's like the similar moves I was throwing out.
Do you regret it?
I got compliments the next day. It was like, man, you tore it up last night, man. I saw you fucking bust your move out. It was good, man. It's like, you were the shit, man. You were the shit. And I was like, oh, thanks, but that's not the attention I wanted because, I was insecure. I'm like, thanks,
Yeah.
And I don't remember getting home at all. But I feel as if, too, like, to get back to your point about just compensating through, like, other things, I feel as if sometimes people feel like they need to drink to have a good time. And I used to think people who said that were stupid. It's like, it's like, of course you have to drink to have a good time because it releases this and that and it does this, And I said, those people are fucking boring. And, like I said, that was 19, 20-year-old me, whereas now I'm like, okay, you don't necessarily have to drink to have a good time. It's the people who you're with. Like, I was standing on like a street corner with my friend who was just like busking. I think that's the term. Like busking, just like outside of a bar, like playing your guitar.
Oh yeah, no idea what busking was. Playing a guitar. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, playing a guitar outside of a bar, and we just did that for 3 hours, and I sang with her, and it was one of the best nights I've ever had.
Yeah.
I didn't do shit. We just hung out and talked. And
yep. It's not like I don't regret, the bonding that I did in those days, but it's just different. The bonding that I do now is better. Mm-hmm. It's better. It's cleaner, it's brighter, it's more sincere. And the bonding then was good for what it was, you know, and I don't regret any of it, but it's just different.
Also, too, you make different connections when you're sober, too. You know, it sounds very cliche, but things seem to work out whenever you least expect it, or whenever you're not trying to have them work out. You know what I mean?
Like letting go of the wheel.
Well, I have to keep mine, so it was an obvious pun. I apologize. I fucking hate just
a couple
doing
wheels
those.
you cannot let go of. So I mean like driving. If you're you know, like, okay, wheels not a good scenario for you. We're not giving up our wheels.
We'll think of another analogy.
Yeah, I don't know. You're giving up controls. You're giving it over. Being like, this is going to work out however it's supposed to be. I still can't do that. I try every day. Every day I wake up and try to do that, and really amazing things happen when I do. But I really manipulate situations and try to get things to work out.
And also too, like when you focus on yourself. I mean, I'm working on a bit right now about like, you know, like the people that go to bars and clubs. They're just the bros. You know what I mean, like the bros, like, bro, we're gonna do shots, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you're gonna get fucked up tonight. You're gonna get pussy. You're gonna get pussy. You're gonna get bitches. It's gonna be great. It's fucking backwards hat, swag on their shirt. Which there's, I heard this one guy say in Windsor, there's like a Slim Shady epidemic, which I think is kind of funny. You know what I mean? Because I guess the implication was, well, you get all these white dudes who are trying to be black. It's not necessarily that they're trying to be black. It's a masculine thing. They want to project masculinity. They want to project that they're tough. But I feel as if whenever you do that, you're overcompensating for something. So the bit I'm working on is like, you know, it's like, bro, we're going to totally go and get smashed. We're going to do this. Translation, I'm insecure about my dick size, bro.
Yeah.
My dad didn't give me enough attention. I'm insecure around girls. I feel like I have to dress like this to get respect because I don't really actually know how to fight.
Yeah.
Even though I pick fights and get my ass kicked. You know?
They might be too honest. So some of those jokes.
Yeah.
Like I have a joke right now that I love. It doesn't get laughs, and I'm gonna have to drop it if it doesn't get a laugh tonight soon. Yeah. But it's about how I'm a really good friend and a terrible girlfriend. As a friend,
I've heard this one.
Really? I think it's fairly new.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure I have.
Well, can I just tell it and see?
No, of course.
I feel like I haven't seen you since I invented this.
Sorry.
Maybe not. Maybe it's older than I thought. So I'm a really good friend to a guy. The guy says to me, my dad bought my car. My dad pays my mortgage. I'm like, man, you got a really good dad. That's awesome. If I'm in a relationship, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with your dad? Like, he's enabling you. Have you heard that one?
It sounds so familiar.
I have a big set about dating.
Yeah.
And the guys that I'll date and not date. So maybe that's what you were thinking of. But it's fairly new because I was talking to a friend and I'm like, oh man, I'm just like, love my friend. I'm like, I want you to be so happy. And yeah, you know, this is what's happening in your life, you know, and like, I'm so open and loving with him, and I know that if we were in a relationship, I wouldn't be. I'd be like, what? Like, fucking get off your ass, do something. You know, it would just change. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be able to be, you know, that accepting in a personal relationship because I have standards and I want like.
Everybody does to some extent. I mean, if you're just looking to get a piece of ass, you know, there's websites for that. But even then, like, I feel as if sometimes people have this implication of what you think you want as opposed to what you need. There's a difference between what you want and what you need. We want a Rolls Royce. We want nice shit. Will it make us happier? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. You know, it's like a sort of like a psychological argument. You hear it sometimes in psychology. I feel as if though it changes with everybody. You know, we all kind of want to live through something at some point. Because in a sense, it's how we shape our identity. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I guess. So 2 things.
Yeah.
I share that joke because it doesn't get laughs, and I think it's hysterical because it's true, and I think it's too true. Like the economy is bad. People are doing their best. You know, I work 3 jobs in order to live on my own as a 36-year-old woman with no dependents. You know, I work 7 days a week to be able to live my meager life. So the economy is bad. Things are tough. So maybe it's too true in that sense.
Yeah.
That was the first thing. What was the other thing I wanted to say to you?
Take your time. We got time.
I know. It's very warm in here. I'm very distracted.
Do you want something to drink?
I have my beverage. I can reach over and get a sip if I need one. I don't know what the other point was. Oh, I'm not looking for a Rolls Royce. I'm not like a gold digger because I want a guy to have a job and not be supported by his dad. I live a very simple life. I just need, and what I need and what I want, I guess you're saying is 2 different things. But a partner, a mirror of myself. I mean, can I just date myself? Is that a problem?
And I've been in a couple of relationships where it's felt like I have been dating myself, and that didn't work out because we had the same insecurities, the same issues. So the cliche opposites attract, I find, as I get older especially, is even more true. nowadays, as opposed to what I thought initially. You know what I mean? Because like, oh, it's easier to date myself. I know myself and stuff. Yeah, but so you want somebody to compliment you, not to overbear.
Yeah, have a job. Compliment my job with your job.
Absolutely. And obviously take an interest too. And you said you work 3 jobs. Where do you find the time to do Laugh Riot dolls?
I consider that to be one of my jobs. But yeah, I have to take when I book a Laugh Riot doll show, I have to take off work. But they know that, they know my weekend job knows when they hired me on that I do comedy shows and I'll give you plenty of advance notice to take that time off. So when I do book those shows, if they falls on the weekend, I take that time off.
And not like how did the formation of this start?
Because the Laugh Riot dolls?
Yeah.
It's such a blessing for female comics in the area. If you're new, there's baby dolls. You can do the 5 to 7 minutes, and then as you build up, you're a Laugh Riot doll, so you do the 15 to 20. So there's there's space for any level of comic, female comic, to be on the show, and that really works out for all of us, including me as the booker, because the new girls bring people, and that's a positive.
Everybody wants to see their friends.
Yeah, everyone's gonna come out and support me, And then I also had the Little Dollies, which was my dream, which now just happened. And they're a singing group, so they open up with like 50s style comedy songs, and they look all polished and cute, and they have that feel. So the package has really come together. My website's getting built. I've been doing the Laugh Riot dolls for 3 years. I've been doing comedy for 5 years. When I first got into comedy, very early there was an all-female group called Live Rude Girls, and there was no boss. It was just a bunch of girls. A booker had booked us on a show for an all-female night, and we were just like, let's just keep doing it. One girl had the name, one girl had the posters, and I loved it. I'm like, I get to work. I only have 5 minutes or 7 minutes, and I get to do shows with ladies. Like, this is great. Real crowds, real comedy shows, but since there's no clear boss, it all went to shit, since you can't, there needs to be a central figure. And so I waited for a while, wanting it to get back together, and it just didn't. So it's like, I'm going to do my own thing. That was the only way I was going to work. I didn't have enough time to do anything by myself. And the only way that I was going to work, that I had known how to work, was with a female group. Yeah. So I created my own, the Laugh Riot dolls.
And also, too, like you say, it gives a stage for female comics, because even though we like to think that we've evolved in terms of gender equality, and I'm not placating, please don't, I'm not about that, you know what I mean? It's just... It really is difficult to be a female comic. I have not just you, but I have other friends who are female comics, and even the other night when I was performing at this venue, there was a newer female comic who was with me, and we went on stage together. It was a great time, and like we were just kind of riffing. She was going into her stuff, and you ever like watch the Doug Benson interruption? Or you heard of the Benson interruption? Well, he'll like sit up there and like the comic will do the thing, but he'll interrupt and maybe add something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess it's sort of like that, but I just the guy who was running the show, he's like, yeah, I go up there with her. He said, it's her first time here. She's a bit nervous, and she's very, very talented. And, she's only been doing it for 2 months, so it's just a matter of stage presence. But anyway, so she's doing her bit, and there's, you always get the one drunk guy. You always get that guy. There's a dude that was that guy in like a Boston Bruins hat, Montreal Canadiens jersey, having his Molson Canadian, and he goes in there and he just starts heckling her to like, there's one thing like if you're a heckler and you're playing along with them, like I find that some hecklers are nicer than others, which is kind of odd because you never think no heckler is nice.
Can I tell you that I've never actually had a heckler, knock on wood? Is Canada about hecklers?
No. It's not that we're about hecklers. It's just, you've been doing it for 5 years, you've never had a heckler? Maybe
I'm just cute and funny.
Oh, my God. Wow.
I've had one, and it was a friend of mine, but that didn't count because it was a friend. I've never had someone really be like, hey, ugly fat girl, or something. Like they'd say that, but I've never
because you're neither one of those.
I've never had anyone be like outwardly mean.
Yeah,
just to be mean.
Yeah, hey, when it does happen, let me know because we'll have like a little celebration.
I hope it doesn't happen tonight or tomorrow night.
I'll be there. So if it does, I'll witness it.
I think people have tried. I don't engage. Like I know I did a show in Fenton, Michigan, at this place called the Old Hickory. It was this open mic, and this guy kept on saying things in the back, like wanting to engage me, and I just ignored him. So I don't count it as a heckle because it wasn't like so in my face that I had to participate. I just ignored. And I've had people add in, like they say something, it's kind of funny, but I haven't had like that intrusive. You're ruining my set.
Yeah.
You're being a dick. And honestly, I think I watched a documentary called The Heckler.
Yeah, the Jamie Kennedy one.
Yes, and the one, I don't know what comic said it, but I'm like, that's what I would say is if I didn't know, like, I swear to God, you're trying to hurt my feelings right now. I think I would just get like real and be like, dude, like, I really think you're trying to be mean to me right now. Is that what's happening? If I didn't know better, I think that you were trying to hurt my feelings.
Absolutely, and I find as if a heckler is a form of a bully because they're taking something that. Especially if you're a new comic and you don't have the experience too, because like the girl who's up with me, she's a nice looking girl, and she's got talent, so people feel like, oh, it's just, I guess maybe it's just this primitive shit where it's like, well, who the fuck is she? And it didn't help that this guy was wasted either, But like I said, they pick any type of weakness and anything that they feel can be exploited. So he did say something to her, and she didn't say anything back. And then I'm like, okay, let's, maybe he'll shut up. And just kept doing it. I said something finally because I'm like, this can't go on. You know what I mean? Because especially when you're new, like that can crush your spirit. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
And it's important to have, I guess, somebody there to help. I'm not saying that's what I was, but I felt like I had to do something.
How did she feel afterwards?
It's kind of funny because before she went on stage, we were talking, and she's like, I never had a heckler yet.
Oh,
no, it's literally like you get the fucking most cliche dude to come in and do it, and that's exactly what we got.
I'm getting a heckler tonight or tomorrow night.
You totally
that's
are.
Gonna happen.
I will knock on wood.
Now I'm just gonna stop down and be like, dude, you're hurting my feelings. I worked really hard. I'm excited to be here. Stop.
Yeah.
And just see what happens.
And essentially, it's like a form of interruption too, because I heard somewhere hecklers are just frustrated comedians or wannabe comics, which is what they are the most part. Because they're like, I think I'm funny. I'm funnier than my friends. I'm funny. And it's like, well.
They think they're helping. I know I've heard that. Yeah. I've heard people say that. Like, I was really part of the show, and I really helped that guy out. It's like, no, you're not helping.
We're doing our own jokes that we rehearse and that we practice. And even if you think you are, I mean, it's up to us to get laughs. It's not for you to get the laughs for us. You know what I mean?
Get your own gig.
Yeah, which
write your own set.
Yeah, which I don't a lot of hecklers I don't think have the creativity to do that. I don't. The implication.
I'm nervous now. I'm gonna get a
heckler. I gave you some anxiety. I apologize.
A little bit, yeah. I'm gonna have.
No, when I actually first started, I posted some shit on YouTube, and he actually put up a heckling video. It was with these girls. I think it was in West Virginia. And I sent him a message. I'm like, man, you handled those people really well. I said, I sometimes get them, and I don't know what to do. And he said, the key for him, he said...
Who's he?
His name's Andrew Fox.
Okay.
And I think he's from, like, West Virginia or something like that. Yeah, it's West Virginia. And he said the key to dealing with the heckler is you have to ignore the women and emasculate the men. Because they both want attention, but for two different reasons. The women want attention because they want the attention. Maybe they had a shitty day, their kids are driving them nuts, they couldn't find parking, their girlfriend's being a bitch, their husband's being an idiot. You know what I mean? Or they just had a bad day and they want they want attention from somebody. I find that's what I get with a lot of female hackers. It's like, well, it's Kathy's birthday. You should say something about Kathy's birthday. Look, she's wearing a penis hat. We should all acknowledge the penis hat because she's standing out as nobody else is wearing a penis hat. That's why we should compliment on it. It's like, it's not about your fucking penis hat. Like, I'm doing my set. And with men, you have to emasculate them because men approach things, like, especially confrontation like that. You know what I mean? It's more on set and it's more physical, especially like if you have a male heckling a male. Like a male comic, because they want to make you look stupid. They want to make you look like you don't have confidence. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, who's this fucking guy? We're gonna show him up. You know what I mean? So you emasculate him. Dick size. Talking about dick size works a lot, and or just any.
Would it work for a woman to emasculate a man?
I think it can work, but I've seen like male comics just talk about how absurd like their comedy is or how silly it is. Like what I like to do is I like to just let them talk initially, because the more they say, the more the crowd's gonna hate them. And the more ammunition I have to throw back, you know what I mean. And so it's kind of like a tiger. It's kind of like a tiger, like when a tiger's like preying like in the jungle, and you're just waiting for that one moment. It's like, all right, motherfucker, I got you.
I don't want to talk about hecklers anymore.
I'm sorry, it gave me so much anxiety.
I really
feel bad.
Especially since you were like, and this girl, she was like, she never had a heckler, and then man, there was that heckler.
If you have a heckler tonight, you can totally just blame me. You really can. It's like, fuck that, Dave. Have me on his podcast talking about hecklers,
cursing me.
What's wrong with this guy?
But I am very, very. Thank you for asking about the Laugh Riot Dolls. Our next show is September 7th at O'Mara's in Berkeley. Oh. Really good comics. Heather Henderson, who's awesome. I'm so happy. I haven't done a show with her since Live Rude Girls. So I'm so excited to have her on the show. She's solid. She's a pro.
Absolutely.
Astro Navarez, who's always on the shows with me.
I've seen her. I haven't gotten a chance to meet her in person.
She's solid. Yep. So those are like, Laugh Riot dolls. And then the baby dolls, I have a Haley Zurich, who is a baby doll, and then Laura, and she has a Polish last name like mine that I'm not gonna remember. It's like Wazowski or something. And she's gonna be a baby doll that's on there too. So they're on the newer end, but it's gonna be a really good show. And the little dollies will be there. Nice. And opening up the show with a nice song. You know what's funny talking about female comics and male comics? Yeah. You know how many guys want to get on my show and constantly ask me to be on the Laugh Riot Dolls show? It's like,
that's interesting.
The Laugh Riot Dolls. Like, come on.
I guess they could be a doll if you dress them up properly.
So many guys asked to be on my show.
Put them in like Tyler Perry makeup, just have them go all out.
No, thank you. No thanks.
Not for you.
I had a male MC for Halloween once. He was also my boyfriend. So, so I think you have to be having sex with me in order to get on.
Good to know.
No, I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I'm not saying that that's true, but I might do like a Laugh Riot Dolls and Friends. And get some of my friends on there.
Yeah,
because don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like male comics. I love comedy in general, and I love comics, and I love having fun and laughing, and I want us all to work. And this is just the venue that I have that start. It really was pure selfishness. I wanted to work, and then it just happened that other people could work with me. And as I progress, my goal in life, like my through line, in my career, is to work creatively with my friends and make an abundance of money.
Yeah.
Work creatively with my friends and make an abundance of money. So however that happens.
Yeah, and stage time is important for that. I mean, I didn't even realize it until even this year. It doesn't matter where you go. Even if you just get up there, and even if you just go anywhere, any type of work is good work. And especially in areas where, like you said, maybe they don't, there's not as many clubs, they're not getting booked as much. Any type of stage time is good. I always say you just have to be prepared. Just prepare. And just relax and just go up and do your thing. Yeah,
a comic told me it's not how long you've been doing it, it's how much you do it.
Yeah, because you could be doing it for 20 years, but you take a break and then you just completely.
Yeah, I've been doing. Yeah, I actually had a student because I also teach. It's one of my jobs. I teach. I teach adults, and I had a student. This is years ago. Talk about when I first started. He was saying that he does comedy. Well, that's awesome. How many? I said how many. Somehow I asked. I don't know what question. How many shows have you done or something? And he said, I've done 7. And I said, this week? And he goes, no, total. And I go, do you need to know where some open mics are? 7 total, and you've been doing comedy? He's like, I've been doing comedy for a year. And you've done 7 shows? That's not doing comedy for a year.
No.
That's you've done comedy 7 times.
Yeah.
You don't get to, if you do an open mic 7 times in a year, you're not doing comedy.
That's the truth. And like I said, the only way to get better is obviously to hone your skill up there and to just have the time. Because a lot of the times I feel as if you can prepare all you want. You can go through your entire set list and say things word for word. But if you're not up there and if you're not presented with different scenarios, that in itself, you have to kind of teach yourself on the fly.
And I changed my order too. I definitely, I always build my set before each show. Each show gets its own story. Because it's how do I feel right now? What does this crowd feel like if I can do it? Today I'm featuring, so I won't be up. With my shows, I'm up last, so I have kind of the whole day to kind of night to figure it out. For my own shows, yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Exactly.
Am I a fool? And just figure it out, make a story. So it's the same jokes, but they're kind of, some of them always kind of go together, but I can switch them up, and there's just groups and blocks, and the story's different. It's not always the same. It's not always the same from beginning to end. I have 2 different closers that I like to do, so it depends on where I'm at, whether I can do this closer or that closer, and really how I feel. What story do I want to tell? Do I really want to focus on, working with female comics? Do I really want to, how do I want to start out? Do I want to start out with I'm really trying to improve myself as a human being and go through all those things I've done, or do I want to start out my struggles of being single and how hard it is, to date, and be, in this day.
Tough. It really is tough. I mean, until recently, it felt like just an uphill battle. But once again, it's whenever you don't give a shit and you just do your own thing, which I give you props for. You know what I mean?
Not giving a shit and doing my own thing.
Yeah, and just do your own thing. And the people who matter will be there. It sounds, like I said,
I get a lot of guff. I mean, I think I'm the biggest pussy in stand-up comedy.
No.
Yeah, I feel that lately. I get a lot, but not too bad. Just people think that I'm one way based on what they see about me, and then once they get to know me, they realize like what a sensitive person I am, and I think that's disturbing to a lot of people.
It's
people
like
want me to be this tough broad, and I'm both. Like I really am both, but at my core, I'm this sensitive person. But I think I'm also the toughest bitch in the room too, So I don't know, but I think I disturb people with my sensitivity. I really do.
No, it's maybe it's just because people aren't necessarily expecting that. It's so easy to label somebody. It's so easy to say, well, they're this and they're that. Like nobody's a stock character. Nobody's just one personality. We're all really a combination of personalities. What we present is different, but we are a mesh of different shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's from acting too. Oh, yeah. That's what I love about acting is that I can. Because I know there's this angry, murderous rage. Like, I have that. And I have sensitive, loving, kind, caring, and everything in between. Like, I have that most sensitive, childlike part of me. And then I have that tough person and everything in between. And when I do theater, when I get into a character, like, here's an example. I did a character it's called The Crack Walker. Her name's Teresa. Are you familiar with it?
No.
It's actually it's funny because it's Canadian. It's based in Canada. So she's this mentally challenged woman, and she gets into this relationship and everything. So I have to play this mentally challenged woman. So what I did was, instead of faking and being something that I wasn't, I played it as my younger self. So when I did the whole thing, I was Heather at 5.
Really?
I was just pure, innocent. Now I'm talking about having sex with people. I'm talking about doing drugs, and I'm doing the lines, but my whole character was based on me because I'm not mentally challenged, in that way. So I'm mentally challenged in other ways, but not in that way that
is on some level.
That this character is.
Yeah.
So but Heather at 5, Heather at 5 is very much on that level, very much innocent and easily excitable and easily upset and all of those things. And then creating the as ifs, like what was the thing? I really would like to do something angry soon because I think I'm like building up some stuff. Yeah, it's nice to get some stuff out. But working out helps with that too.
Yeah.
But what's that? I'm trying to remember what's the angriest thing I ever did. One thing that comes to mind is Trap, I was very angry. I know that's not my best work. I think my best work that I've done has been in theater, most definitely. It's like this moment and it's gone.
What's Trap about? Explain.
Trap is a feature film. I think I did that in 2008 or 2009. Jim Bonner directed it. You can get it on Amazon. You used to be able to watch it on Netflix. It was rated by Netflix reviewers as being craptastic.
Oh.
Which is
well, at least it was tastic.
It was tastic in some way. And so I'm like this real ballsy woman who's just manipulating people. I just manipulate this person online that I meet who's actually my cousin in real life. I manipulate her and get her to do things with her life just because I find I get joy out of it. And then I manipulate my husband because I get joy out of it. And I definitely have that dark side. Like I like practical jokes. I like to put cold hands on people. I don't do it anymore because I got in trouble for it, but I used to like whenever I don't eat cake either, but whenever I'd have a cupcake, I'd be like, does this smell funny? Or if I had ice cream, does this smell funny? And I like put it in your nose. Like it's real simple, sweet things really, but there is a dark side to it. It's like I really want to gain power over you.
Do you like that element of surprise where they're not really expecting it?
I do. I love it.
Yeah.
I love to be scared too. Like it's really good feelings. So you take that and you make it bigger. So there's that part of me that feels better when I get one up on you. So in the Heather Kozlakowski right now, it's fun. You're my friend. I'm having fun with you. I absolutely like it.
We're just talking shit.
I'm doing it out of love, but I can distort that into I'm doing it because I want you to feel bad. Mm-hmm. That's not how it is organically from me. But with Trap, that's what I did. I distorted it for Amy. Like I made it bigger.
Yeah, and some people might attribute that to zodiac signs and stuff like that, which I think does have an influence because it's funny how a lot of the character traits and emotions sometimes coincide with people. Like, I'm a Scorpio, right? So they said Scorpios are very strong-willed, they're very assertive. And I'm like, I'm not always like that, though. I can be sensitive, and it sounds cliche, but what's your sign?
What do you think my sign is?
I have no idea.
Really? I would think that you would know since you seem to think that the signs kind of point to who you are.
Somewhat, but I also think it's like the whole nature-nurture argument, too. Like, you had humble beginnings, so...
I had humble beginnings. Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. I have humble now. I'm humble. Aquarius.
Okay.
February 9th.
I can see that.
What are we? We're creative types.
Yes. Yeah.
Aquarius.
Not we. I'm not.
The Aquarii.
The Aquarii. I have to read up on that sign.
Let's see. I'm the water bearer. I know that.
Okay.
Creative, they say, which is totally me.
Yeah.
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 Huh? You weren't so into this thing. I thought I was gonna put that. You were like gonna read
it's
my
okay.
palm and shit and tell me what was happening.
I'm not. I could be like one of those psychics and shit on TV. I just I can do a Jamaican accent. I'd probably be able to sell it more.
Yeah.
Miss Cleo. I was like, oh, call me now, girl.
And then you can just take everything I said and be like, okay, I see that you're sensitive, and I see that you're struggling with your sensitivity, and that you're being judged by your sensitivity. You can just take everything that I would just told you and regurgitate it back to me.
Well, I can read people though. Like it's this weird thing where within like the first minute, even 2 minutes, I have a sense of who to trust and who not to trust.
Really, I wish I had that sense.
No, you don't, but a blessing because you kind of know who to trust and who not to trust, so you know what to say and where to go. But also, it's kind of tough because reality kind of hits you harder. You know what I mean?
You realize how many douches are out there?
How many douches there are, or just how fake people can be. How like they're projecting something that they want people to see as opposed to who they really are. We're like, like I said, we all do that. Maybe it's just having the knowledge of yourself and the knowledge of other people if you're being exposed to different people.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do think I'm a pretty good judge of character. I do think, because I mean, I've been living my life and I haven't been hurt too badly. I watch TV and see these women who are meeting these people who are not who they say they are, and just terribleness. And I haven't run across those people.
I feel as if every Lifetime movie is like that. You ever notice that?
These poor women, are they terrible? They have to be a terrible judge. It's not their fault. I'm not saying it's. No. I thank God that somehow I'm a good judge of character, that I haven't let that crazy bastard into my life. No. You've been crazy enough, you guys who have made it in. You've had your own sense of craziness, but I love you and appreciate you, and I'm so glad that you were who you said you were to the best of your ability. And like you weren't that crazy guy.
Absolutely.
Scary.
And it goes back to the argument, you know people, but do you really know people? I mean, like I said, some people just know right off the bat. It's difficult initially because, like I said, what you project is what you project. It's what people see. You're not always projecting everything that you want people to see. You know what I mean?
I think I project tough.
Yeah. I saw one of your pictures. It was what wasn't it like you and like the women's? No, it was just that picture from like the women's rights movement. Like with the girl and the handkerchief or whatever.
Oh, just one that I posted.
Yeah, and she was flexing.
Rosie the Riveter.
I should have looked that up.
Do your research.
Oh, I did actually. That's the fucking.
And I like being the boss too. Yeah, because there is that picture of me with the little dollies around me, and I'm like in the chair. Because that's titled, "I'm the fucking boss." I like being the boss. But I've worked on it a lot. Everyone used to, when I first met you, I thought you were a bitch. When I first met you, I thought you were a bitch. So I hope that I don't give off that impression anymore, because I've done a lot of, I'm just a different person than I was a year and 3 months ago, So I hope that I don't give off the impression that I'm a bitch. Yeah. But I definitely don't want to give off the impression that I'm a puss.
No,
because I'm not.
I think there's a fine line. It goes back to the sensitivity and aggressiveness argument.
I don't like using the word puss either, because that means that women are weak.
Well,
I don't like that. I don't like that too much either.
The Betty White quote was that vaginas are strong. They take poundings. They can do this. And I'm just like, yeah, it's true. Vaginas are very durable. And I know that with masturbation, vaginas can get 10 times the size as like a man's organ. So.
What are you talking about right now?
Vagina size. This is sorry, I don't even know how the fuck.
Yeah, you went off.
Sometimes it happens.
Okay.
I have like
I just didn't want to use the word puss anymore, or pussy to mean a weak person.
Yeah, no.
I just wanted to not do that too much. And then you went into like not getting to like a gynecological exam and what happens to my body when I'm aroused.
So sometimes I have these thoughts in my head, and like when I say them, I'm like, probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
it's too late. Fuck.
I should have stayed inside. Don't talk about my vagina like that.
No,
I'll talk about my vagina.
Yeah, whichever. Yeah. See, now I was slightly thrown off.
Yeah.
No, it's okay, but it's the whole sensitivity argument though. Because people feel, as like I said, I used to think this too. If you cry or if you show any type of weakness, you'll be labeled as weak. To me, the people who hold it inside, those people are essentially weaker because you're afraid to express yourself. If you're really comfortable, if you're really secure with yourself, you can't express yourself. You can still kick somebody's ass. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever notice that with any type of fighter, whether it's boxers or MMA guys, they really don't pick fights that much, and girls. So like, they really don't pick fights. They really don't feel that they have to project that. They really don't feel the need just need to show somebody what I can do. I'm gonna fuck this guy up. It's like, no, you don't. I just did that.
Because I dated a professional wrestler. It's in my stand-up.
Oh, yes,
it's like
I remember.
I dated a professional wrestler, which is weird because I usually faked it. That's the joke. But I did. He's 6 foot. He's still 6'7", but at the time he was 330 pounds, just a huge mountain of a man. And I remember that when he would meet people, being that size, he didn't like people because everyone was manning up. Everybody had to try to show him that he wasn't bigger than them, and like he called it small man syndrome. Whenever they'd shake his hand, they try to crush it.
Complex,
like because he was so enormous, sweetest guy,
absolutely.
And people just had to, but he had that dick side because he had to, because people treated him like that. People just wanted to man up on him all the time. He just couldn't live his life because people always wanted to show him what kind of man they were.
It's almost like a defense mechanism when you think about it, like a necessary one in that regard.
Maybe it's that, it's their reptilian brain saying, oh my God, this guy, I have to let this guy know that I'm a man too. Because he's clearly a man. I have to let him know that I have my...
Yeah, so that he doesn't fuck me up, as opposed to just saying, hey man, how's it going? I liked your show. You're really cool. Yeah. And, whereas you could just say that. It's so funny how people sometimes have to be so confrontational. Because it's like, what are you trying to prove? If you have confidence in yourself and if you really believe in yourself, why do you have to project it? Why do you have to always do that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you see it a lot with men too, because nobody wants to be the short guy, nobody wants to be the guy that's out of shape or I can't talk to girls.
And being that person really helps you become a better person. Like, oh God, who was it? There was a comic talking about if we took away bullying, he's like, we'd have no
comedy.
We'd have no comedy. He's like, we'd have no skyscrapers. We wouldn't have anything if you took away bullying, because how do we develop as people? And I have a joke about how I want men to have below average penises for a little while, and they have to earn an above average penis, like a fat girl has to earn a personality, because through your struggles of thinking you have a bad small penis, you become a better lover. You make up for it. But if you know that you have a good penis, you think that's all you have to do is just like use your penis.
I've never. Well, sorry. Sorry.
How are we gonna go out? Should I not even have brought up?
I probably shouldn't have said.
You're gonna hold this in now.
Yeah,
too?
I'm gonna, because I'm gonna say no. I probably shouldn't. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. But do you understand the theory?
Absolutely. I think it's a valid theory because
if you struggle, if you have humble beginnings,
yes,
you flourish.
Yes.
But then there are people who don't. There are obviously people who have humble beginnings and crumble and use things, So I use food to medicate and feel better. I'm honest about that. Mm-hmm. Thank God I never used, crack cocaine or meth or, pills. Mm-hmm. But there are people they're just trying to feel good. Like all these people out there that are bumping into us and manning up to us and pushing our buttons, they're literally just trying to feel good.
They could just use a pat on the back, They're
just trying to feel good. Back.
And this is actually kind of a weird connection that I want to make, but maybe it's the same way with disabilities too, because I feel as if when you have a disability, you find out who your real friends are, and you find out the people who actually want to be in your life. Because it's not that people want to be shallow. It's just we judge on predecessors. Like we judge on is he or she going to be a strong mate? Are they going to be good for me? Because everybody likes to feel protected. Everybody likes to feel secure. Nobody wants to feel like, I have to carry him. I have to do this. I have to do that. It seems like a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And I feel as if everybody shows strength in different ways. Everybody shows who they are in different ways. Whatever form of expression you think you can do it with. But I feel as if when you have a disability, it's in a sense it's a humble beginning, because it's like, you are mortal. You're more mortal than somebody else, but you have a strength that nobody else has. And you can just live a normal life. You don't have to fit the stereotypes. Like I said this in the last podcast. My friend Jeff Preston, he has 3 theories. It's the super crip, the childlike almost thing, where sometimes you get people who play people who are mentally challenged, and you have the cynic, or the villain, where he's upset because he or she's upset because of their condition, who they are, and the card that they've been dealt in life. But like I said, for me, I didn't even realize that it was so important, because you start to realize that there are people who want to be with you regardless, and they don't give a shit about your chair. They like you. It sounds cliche, but they like you for you. Mm-hmm. And I feel as if some people don't have that. Maybe people who are beautiful don't have that, or who have good looks, or who are very athletic, because you get all this artificial stuff thrown at you, whether it be women or gold or money.
I'm super fearful I think about what would my life have, because I got a pretty big ego. I don't know if you've picked up on that, but I do. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what would have happened to me if I had not been fat my entire life. I've always been fat. Always. Okay. I would have been a stripper. I mean, I think I would have been like, I gotta show this. I don't know whatever makes you, I don't know what makes you be that person, you know, and I think that it's all the tragic thing that happens. That could be it. But there's that part of me that's just like, man, I have a joke about that too, you know, like, you know, just, well, I won't get into it because it's sexual and I don't want to make this weird again, but.
I don't think it was weird. It's just,
but, you know,
I just can't say anything too direct because I have to stop myself.
But, I'm grateful for the life that I led because it brought me to who I am right now. And I do think about, well, what if this didn't happen, where would I be? And one thing is like, if I didn't struggle with my weight, if I did just, you know, get through puberty being rock hard and, you know, what kind of crazy woman would I be? Yeah.
You have to go through some type of struggle or through some type of suffering in order to achieve any type of success.
And I even think about like the loves that I've lost, you know, the things, the relationships that didn't work out. And I'm like, man, I'm not going to get into the personal things, but terrible things have happened to the people that I thought that I wanted to be with forever. And it's like, man, what a gift that didn't work out because that would have been my life, you know, like that could have been me.
It teaches you how to, like I said, how to weed out the people who are important and who are not. It also teaches you about your own strength. I mean, some people, the cliche is, well, they're just weak, they're just this, they're just that. Like, no, maybe they weren't dealt a blow until they were 40. Maybe their dad passed away. Maybe their friend had to move, or like their friend got into an accident. Maybe it had to be something that maybe if it doesn't occur now, it's going to occur later.
And we all have everything. I volunteer. I haven't done it recently, which I need to because I loved it so much. But with Challenge Day, have you heard of that? You have? Do you know what Challenge Day is?
Well, I have an idea, but
Dudra St. John. So Challenge Day.
It's different.
It's probably the same thing. Okay. It's based in California. It's worldwide now, and it's basically an assembly at a high school. And so I volunteer as an adult facilitator, and they go through this seminar or whatever. However, this assembly teaching students how to treat each other and to get to know each other. Basically, they have this thing called "If You Really Knew Me." If you really knew me, you break down the barrier and you get real with each other.
That's so interesting.
And you understand.
If you really knew me.
If you really knew me, what would you know? Like, if you really knew me, you would know like what's happening in my life right now. Like, if you really knew me, you would know that my cat is sick. If you really knew me, you would know that you know.
It doesn't always have to be negative. It more so just maybe answers questions for a lot of people.
But this is a thing that I learned because I definitely judged the pretty kids.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it so easy. You have this nice life. And then I'm sitting in circles as an adult woman, sitting in circles with these beautiful little teenagers who I make up had this perfect life that I didn't have when I was their age. And they're telling me about their parents' struggles. Their sister died. Or, they're telling me all these horrific things that never happened to me.
Yeah.
And it's happening to this beautiful girl. And I look at her and I think she's so beautiful. She has everything. But she, too, just because it's not outwardly, she, too, has her pain. She, too, has her struggles. She, too, is just trying to feel better. And she might be the bully picking on someone else, but she's doing it because she, too, struggles. And she's just trying to feel better.
And she doesn't have that outlet. Like, I have to reiterate, that's so important for people. I mean, we found it for us. This is one of them. Like, everybody can do different things, and everybody has different things that they try. But it's important to find that outlet because, to me, it would save a lot of people's lives and both ideas because it saves you from killing somebody, and it saves you from maybe destroying your own life. You know what I mean? Once you found something where it's like, yes, I can express myself. Yes, I can get this out. Yes, I feel good. It's almost as if it's like a ridiculous load off your back. And you just feel as if now I can live my life. Now I can progress. Now I can move forward. Now I can just do my thing. If you want to accompany me on the journey, go for it. But I've actually found what I'm doing. And I'm sticking to it.
Yep.
And this is what it is. This son of a bitch is an hour. Holy shit. This is the longest podcast I've ever done.
Really?
Motherfucker.
Well, I am my favorite topic.
That's
so.
okay. Yeah, it's not a stereotype.
Thanks for having me.
It's okay. I like that you gave me more content though. It's good. I have more shit to edit, but I don't mind.
Okay, are we done?
Yeah, no, it's we'll wrap this up right now. Thanks again for listening to the Squeaky Unclean podcast. This was an hour. I liked it though. Interesting conversation. Heather Kozlakowski. I hope the trip was worth it coming over here.
Thanks for having me. It was very good.
Absolutely. And Heather, you're going to be at the Comedy Quarry tonight. What's the days? The date's like August 9th, August 10th. at the Comedy Quarry in Windsor, Ontario. Then what other dates you got?
September 7th at O'Mara's in Berkeley with the Laugh Riot Dolls. And like the Laugh Riot Dolls on Facebook. And stay tuned for our website, which will come out soon, thelaughriotdolls.com.
I encourage you to come check it out because she honestly puts on very, very good shows. The first night I saw you at Villains, I'm like, this chick's funny.
Thank you.
She's very, very good. And obviously, when Johnny P was on stage, he's like, she's got a nice ass and you're a black dude, so that's why you're near her, which is partially true. So
thank you.
Yeah, there's a bit of truth. Anyways, thanks so much, Squeak Freaks, for listening. Stay tuned for newer episodes. Getting tongue-tied. This is why it was an hour, because I'm starting to fall asleep. This is what happens when you don't sleep. Thanks again for listening. Take care, you guys. Have fun. Judge if it's funny. If it's not, don't judge. Don't be a dick. Have a good day /night.